Welcome, fire signs. This is for Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. I'm going to be going over the personality types. Who are you compatible with? And as an extra bonus, I'm going to be going through the actual, what we call the Spanish decks. Now, these are not very common. Most of the times, you probably have seen what's called the tarot cards, oracle cards. They have different names, angel cards. These are what I consider a Latin deck. And I will give you a little history if you want to hear it in some other an introductory video that I have about the history about the Spanish cards. But let's go ahead and jump right in. I wanted first to start with who are you compatible with, fire sign? And I think to have good relationships, whether it's romantically, friendship, right? We always want to find the best compatibility that we can get. And fire sign gets along so well with air. Okay, air and fire, you just get along. So Gemini and with Libra and with Aquarius, you just have a good connection. Okay. Now, even though Aries, as we're talking about you right now, you are most compatible out of those three signs in the air with Gemini. That's right. In with Gemini. And the most interesting thing about it is that you are both a very curious sign. You like a lot of curiosity. Okay. So it's sort of like when Aries and Gemini you run together, you're like two wild horses side by side. And it's like somehow you have a propensity to take riskier, parts of life together, right? It's sort of like I picture Gemini and in areas where you have this enjoyment, excitement. It's sort of like there's this fire just between the two of you. You have good times, you can laugh, you can play, and it's just like such a really solid, long, playful, almost like relationship, but it can extend for so many years to go. And I think that's such a beautiful thing when you can see they're so compatible. So if you ever thought, what was probably the best sign? I'm not saying perfect, I don't believe in perfection, but the most, best sign for you, Aries, is definitely, I would say it's Gemini based in your astrology. Like I said, you can definitely have a Libra or another Aquarius, but you're more inclined to the Gemini side. Okay. And then I want to go ahead and go over some sections here with what are you really your traits, as personality type, as an Aries. First of all, as you probably already know, you are the first sign of the zodiac. So it's sort of like you're starting from scratch. And you have all these 11 signs right in front of you. So you're almost like a baby taking your first steps. And it can be sometimes challenging because as a cardinal fire energy, um, you are in the beginning of a true cycle of astrology. At the same time, you are very trusting and you have a tendency of being optimistic, which is very good, right? And you are ruled by the amazing Mars, the planet of power, sex, drive, ambition, energy, and what else? Passion, right? That's Mars. And people like usually you move onwards and upwards, and it's a progression of life. You have this like headstrong, you're driven. I mean, you're just really motivated to do well. By the way, if you're looking into careers that might tailor a little bit better to your astrology, you're looking at leadership roles. Yes, leadership roles are probably the best at work for you. Okay. And you are going to always have a good friendship circle, and you have really good family dynamics. You do. And I really think that Aries is a sign that can, the only, I say, downside that Aries could have is sometimes you can be too focused on yourself. Okay. Um, and people can see that sort of a little bit of a selfishness, coming from your part. But that's a trait of your, of Aries. So yes, definitely you have a little bit, you're more into yourself. And if you can start having an open mind to be more considerate to, the people around you, you will notice quite a few changes in your life. Sometimes we don't see what we don't see, right? Um, but Aries has that tendency. That's, we have every sign has positive and negative sides to them. But I would say that that's probably your downside as an Aries is that sometimes you just focus on yourself. You care only about you. And when that happens, obviously other people around you, they're gonna feel disconnect, right? So if there's a little bit of a personality, I call it encouragement, is to start considering others, and you will see how many things can change. Okay. So that's for that. And like I said, at the end of the video, I'm going to go over the Spanish cards, and I will go ahead and read the number 5, which is actually your 5 club. Okay. So I want to go ahead and jump now to the treats again in the compatible. Now I'm going to go for Leo, which is number 2, cups. Okay. In the Spanish card. And Leo, you always been, you know, uh, the king of the jungle, right? As you've been known. And I think that Leo has, I feel like sometimes they can be a little bit hard-headed. They're a little bit opponent to conversations. If people go too head to head with you, you can become a little bit strong. So definitely you can have that opponent conversation. Sometimes that can go, wrong in your workplace or in your relationships. You definitely love to take up space anywhere you go. I think you want to be like the spotlight. If you go to a meeting, if you go to a party, you love to have your presence known by anyone. You definitely been known to have a very, driven ego, a very driven ego. And I think if I feel like Leos sometimes they're prone to insecurities. As much as it seems like you're that secure with your ego, sometimes ego can come when we actually do feel insecurity, which is cover it up, with the sense of a facade, right? But you are very much sensitive. You are, and you are ruled by the sun. And again, that's where you get the ego. Okay, the rule by the sun. I mean, the planet Sun. It's known as an ego. You drive your outward expression. You're driven by a lot of desire, a lot of desire. Um, it's just hard to find like unmotivated Leos for any reason. I mean, you are definitely, like I told you at the beginning, you're like the spotlight when you walk into a place, right? You're radiant, you're bright, um, you love attention. What can I tell you, Leo? You do. Um, like I said, you're the throne. You are the animal kingdom, symbol. And I think that sometimes you can be a little bit sensitive to the people around you with the way you express yourself or how you might react. So other people can get a little bit offended. And I think, again, it comes because of that strong force that you have of your ego inside, right? And ego, it's nothing more when we feel that for some strange reasons, we think we're better than others. And, we all know that we're not. We're all the same, right? We might look different, but at the end, we all made of bone and flesh, right? And when we connect in the spiritual sense, we all just one. And we just put that ego on the side, and you will see how a lot of things can drastically change in your life. Because sometimes, like I say, ego can blind us, right? I think all signs will go through that, but Leo is I think one of the strongest one, along with, I would say probably Virgo. I think Virgo is right next to you too. They have a tendency of doing that, but your fifth house, Leo, it's really about romance. It's about children. Um, um, you are truly a curious person. I mean, you really are. You like digging in. You like finding out the why, what's going on, right? Um, And I think the most important is that you keep the childlike spirit inside of you. Okay. I think that keeping that spirit is going to help you go through life and in a much more smooth way. And I really feel that you're very dynamic. There's no doubt about that. Um, and you're a given person. But like I said, if there's any pros and cons that signs have, one of them, like I said, going back with you, Leo, and I'm not saying that all Leos are like that, right? There's exceptions to every sign too. But the most do have a tendency to fall into that ego. So instead of using, like I said, that part of you is trying to, I think, really becoming more connected and being able to uh, become a little more sensitive with how you use your words and the reactions that you have. But you definitely have that bright light, which is it's amazing. It's amazing. Leos get to, like I said, do very well for them. Financially they do. So I think that's a very, very positive thing. So, Leo, that's for you. And now we're going to go ahead and jump to Sagittarius. And Sagittarius, oh, before I forget, Leo, I'm so sorry. Your most compatible sign is Libra. Libra out of all the air signs. Okay. So keep that in mind, because I think it's really important that you know that. Um, And Libra has a tendency of sometimes having a little bit disbalance. Remember, there's two symbols of a balance, a weight. But you are very compatible with Libra. Not that you're not with Gemini and Aquarius, like I said to the rest of your fire signs, you all compatible with air. It's just some of you will have more of a direct connection. In your case, Leo, like I said, it's definitely going to be a Libra. And I think that's great. To probably have a understanding that if you know somebody's it's a Libra, you might have a better opportunity for both of you, right? To have a more of a lasting relationship along with that. Okay. And again, so we can go ahead and jump in right now with Sagittarius. And Sagittarius, um, you are more compatible with Aquarius, by the way. Yeah, you definitely more compatible with Sagittarius. Um, and Aquarius sometimes keep in mind that they can be they have a really free spirit. And Sagittarius, you have a tendency of being more earthy. You like to be more grounded. And if you put too much pressure in an Aquarius trying to control them, right? Then it's when you will have probably a disconnect with that sign. But if you give them the sufficient freedom that they need, they're going to be a very good compatible sign with you, Sagittarius. And I think that that's something that is definitely going to be able to, to help you um, I mean, once you're ready, right, to settle. But I think you will be very, very good partners. You're going to have a very good connection. I think it's sort of like I see Aquarius and Sag, you're more like, two perfect couples. I mean, you love traveling to foreign countries. That's usually what I see out of these two signs. Um, you really get into like really exciting careers, and you're in a fast pace. Believe it or not, you both are very fast paced. And your relationship can grow, and you can actually, the best thing that I find quite interesting about these two signs together is that, and I mentioned this during my episode through the air astrology. um, the relationship, it's sort of like you're together, but yet you're two individuals that you stay together because you choose to stay together, if that makes any sense. So you're very independent, but at the same time, you choose to be together. And I think that's really amazing. So let me go ahead and go into your personality type, Sagittarius, because I think the better we know our signs, the better opportunities we have in life to see what tendencies are going to be best for us, right? And I think Sagittarius, like I said, you're very grounded, very, very, even though you're a fire sign, some people confuse you, with like being an earth sign, right? And it's not. I mean, it's just that you're very grounded, you're very centered. And I think a lot of times when I see them in Sagittarius, it's just a little confusing, right? Even though you're a mutable fire sign, but yet you have that tendency, right? So I see you more in a sort of like more of understandable person, and you try and understand others to the best of your ability. I think you do. And I think you get that because you're ruled by Jupiter. And Jupiter is our greatest, right, planet in our Milky Way, right? And Jupiter, symbolizes optimism, blessings, luck, good fortune, and that's your ruler. So you have a very well depth, and you're very self-assured. There's no doubt about that. Even though you do go through some hardship that you have to confront sometimes situations that you feel is perhaps unfair, but you're able to go and just break through those hardship no matter what. And you know what? You have the ninth house, which that means that you're going to have very good foreign relationships. So if you like traveling and higher educations, these things are going to be really good for your career. And you're probably one of the best ones when it comes to thinking outside the box, by the way. So having a formal, strict kind of job or career where, they're going to be controlling you might not be the best choice. You have a tendency of learning a lot about culture, religion, and belief systems. So you're constantly questioning yourself. What is religion? What is the true, belief in you? Um, and I like that about Sagittarius. Like I said, you're not afraid of questioning things about life. There's another sign that's very And at least in that part, it's similar to you, and that's really also Pisces have a tendency of doing that too, questioning the why this, why that, and sometimes the why can get you in trouble. But it's part of your personality trend because of being a Sagittarius. Okay. So now that we went through your compatible and your type of personality based on your signs of fire, I'm gonna go ahead and end up this bonus because like I said, I've been reading the Spanish cards since I was a teenager and I only done it for my, close friends and family. And I felt that this is something I think people would be interested. Um, and I wanted to share it. So that's why I have started doing this. I hope you enjoy it. So I'm going to go ahead and jump right now into Aries, which is the five of clubs. Okay. And again, these are considered the Spanish cards, or as they call them sometimes, the Latin deck. And interesting about the Latin deck, like I said, they're not considered tarots. They're quite different. And you know what, Aries, what I'm seeing is, like I said, you get what's called the five clubs, right? And the five clubs, I want you to understand that you're probably going to be going through, as a sign, some sort of a deception, jealousy. This can come from, you feeling that you haven't accomplished enough as you wish you have, and remember that jealousy is nothing more than wanting something that someone else has. But remember, we are all capable of obtaining whatever we truly desire in our hearts. And you are a sign again that you're starting the zodiac, cycle. You're capable of obtaining anything that you truly put your mind to it. So even though sometimes you might have a tendency of feeling jealousy from others, or even deception from others, remember that it is within your strong spirit to know that you can accomplish whatever you truly desire, okay? And even if sometimes you find yourself in trouble times, like things are not fair and you don't understand why things are out of balance, again, you are just like a baby going through your baby steps. That's the best way I can describe Aries. Um, but I think yet, I feel like sometimes, in a sense that, in this card right here, you have more of you, like I say, you feel like you have some jealousy, deception, but especially you feel like people haven't been, been dishonest with your areas, you expect that people are going to be more sincere. And remember that we all going through a journey, right? We all going through a journey of life. And sometimes we really don't know what others are going through or what kind of experiences they have had in the past. And again, you're just starting. You're like a baby. Yeah. And I really feel that even when, people being dishonest, they're being, they're lying to you, you feel like something's not right, it's kind of fishy. I want you to keep in your mind that sometimes, like I say, people react because they don't know any other way how to maybe do the opposite. And I think that you're in a situation where you have the power to just move on. You have, like I said, whether you feel people are not being, they're lying to you, they're just not being, sincere with you, then that's not, the kind of friends you want to have anyhow, right? I mean, sometimes it's hard to just walk away from situations like that. But if you're gonna have dishonest friends, they're not friends, right? I mean, because I always think that if somebody's not there for you, then are they really your friends? Or I just feel like life is a journey, and like I said, while you might have a tendency of being jealous or feel deception, for others. You also get a dishonesty from people. So it's about you moving forward and knowing that things are going to be brighter for you. And like I said, you just started. You're right at the beginning of the cycle, Aries, but you have a strong personality and you're very capable of doing whatever you truly desire. Keep that in mind, okay, Aries? So we're going to jump in now to the King of, and here we go, Leo, number 2, 2 of Cups. What do we have? 2 of Cups. Let's see what we have. 2 of Cups and 2 of Cups. Leo, again, you're such a strong personality. And I really believe that um, very few things can get in your way. If you really set your mind to it, you can be really, really strong. And I like that. I like that about you because I think you're strong. You can push forward. And the Spanish card of 2 clubs really represents, okay, of fresh ideas that you can create in your mind. You know how powerful our minds are, right? As we visualize, as we feel, our thoughts become our feelings, and then our feelings can become, our actions, right? And if I know one thing about Leo is that you are go-getters. I mean, you will push through your ideas and your projects and your plans. And it's because you have that strong hope. It's a strong hope that you have. And that's exactly what this card is telling you, number 2 of Cups. It's really about ideas, project plans, and never giving up your hopes. You understand? You never give up your hopes. Uh, Always push forward because that is what represents your sign in the Spanish card. Okay. And then finally, we're going to finish with our amazing sign of Sagittarius. And look at that. You got the 12 of Clubs and the King. Oh my goodness. That is incredible. Sagittarius, what can I tell you? I really believe the Sagittarius, like I said, you're very grounded, very, very grounded. Um, and the beautiful thing about that is that sometimes you can help other people around you um, kind of stop being up in, like in a dreaming stage, like for example, water signs. Usually we have a little more tendency of being more of too dreamy. Uh, and I think signs like fire and earth can pull down other signs to more reality of what life is indeed. Um, and I think that's one thing about Sagittarius. I mean, you just very down to earth. That's really what it is. And that's what the card is telling you. You are the king. You can set at any given time a new path for you. Because you're the king, you're the ruler, right? And I think what matters is that no matter what life throws at you, you're going to be able, again, to get grounded and know that you can move forward, right? And I think that is incredible. You can set your own rules. The only thing I tell about Sagittarius with the card is that, again, we all want to do things from a good balance in our life, meaning we want to do things that not to purposely hurt anyone else, right? Because I think that anyone that is into astrology and spiritual things, we want to do the best for humanity, right? And sometimes, we can be a little bit harsh. And again, Sagittarius, you do have a strong sign. You are a strong sign. Like I said, you're very grounded. And just remember that maybe being a little more sensitive, but you're the king. I mean, this is a very, very, very positive, card for you to know that you can push forward and you can set whatever, things that you want to do, right? And what better card than that? I mean, that's like one of the best one, like the ace, when we get that. And usually an ace will come with a gold. But anytime you get the king, it's definitely a very, very strong, card. And I always say to people, especially in your sign, okay, that it's really, really, important, okay, that you're able to. Sagittarius, I really feel that you're very responsible. See, you see the way he's dressed, right? He's like very formal, he's serious, he's very responsible. That's what represents Sagittarius because you are responsible. And like I said, you have a strong future ahead of you. You have tendency, um, like I say, formality, whether it's education, whether you become, I see a lot of Sagittarius being like teachers, instructors, coaches, okay? You have a tendency of that. And you're very good with children, by the way, okay? He can represent almost like a father figure, right? He could teach other younger generations. So that's representation of the king. Okay. It's being responsible, mature, giving guidance to other people. And that's maybe a career or something that you could probably look into, right? So thank you, my friends. I really appreciate you and if you're willing to give me some support, that would be wonderful. Liking, sharing, just to have a little bit more of a exposure for my channel. I really appreciate that. Again, my name is Bijou. And like I said, remember, this is not a monthly or weekly reading. This is a general reading. One Spanish card per sign. Um, and I'm not sure at this point if I might be starting to do monthly. Depends if you'll feel like this is something that really resonates with all of you. Then I would love to hear your feedback. I really appreciate you all. And until next time, I wish you the very best. And I hope to see you very soon. Bye bye.